Hi, everybody. I'm Gwendolyn Sterk of Sterk Family Law, and we're here for our June Not-for-Profit Hero of the Month. And I'm proud to introduce Ryan Ballard. Hi, Ryan. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So you got an interesting not-for-profit that you work with, and it's called Project Fire Buddies. Can you tell us a little bit about how that not-for-profit got started?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me on and highlighting your organization. We appreciate any shout out that anybody's willing to give us. It helps spread the word. So thanks for having me on. Project Fire Buddy started a few years ago. Just kind of as a grassroots organization. We really didn't have anything formal set in stone or an organization set up. And our founder, Kurt, he kept going on a call with a child that kept spiking a fever. And he, because there's a lot of times that when we transport any patient to the hospital, we normally don't get a report on how they're doing or anything like that because of HIPAA. So, the hospital can't release that information to us. So a lot of times we don't know what happens to any of our patients that we bring in. And it really hits home with kids. And Kurt felt more or less empty after constantly taking this particular child to the emergency room. So he tried to come up with something that would help ease that feeling and do something else for the family. So he was talking to the chief at the time and a few of the guys on the shift, and they decided to go to the house to visit the child. Obviously not as in an emergency fashion as they have been accustomed to. So they just went, they played some games, with the kid just to make them smile for 20-30 minutes and take their mind off of what's going on. So he saw the success with that. And then eventually that family talked to another family in town, which talked to another family in town. And then we started getting more and more kids and families that were interested in this. And all we were simply doing at the time was just going over there and, having some fun with them for 20 minutes. And it kind of morphed into what it is today. Fast forwarding a little bit. We got in contact with a family that had a child that was, or a teenager that was, I think he was 16 at the time, had a bone cancer in which he had to have his leg amputated. At the time, he was a star soccer player at the high school, so he couldn't play soccer anymore. So when Kurt heard about this, he was like, well, it's not really as cool to go there and play a board game or, catch with a 16-year-old. So he's trying to think of a way to do something for this particular kid. And he was talking to his wife, and his wife suggested actually, hey, why don't you see if we can get him into a Chicago Fire game? He loves soccer, right? So some back and forth happened with the Chicago Fire and Kurt, and he was able to accomplish that. And he ended up going to a playoff game and ended up meeting a bunch of players, got to go on the field. At the time, the goalie for the Chicago Fire was a pediatric cancer survivor. So they were able to connect. And they, I believe, still talk to this day. I'm not entirely sure about their relationship.
Yeah.
It was huge. And that's kind of where the organization morphed into what it is today. We still do the visits. We still go and we hang out with the kids. COVID kind of hampered our game a little bit, but we adapted and we stayed outside and, obviously spaced out and everything like that, just to continue the visits. And then we started bringing gifts during our visits, typically birthdays, Christmas, any kind of milestones in their treatments. Any kind of want, need they may ask for, we try to get them, whether it's a medical device that insurance doesn't pay for, a cool new truck toy that they're looking for, celebrity shout outs, once in a lifetime experiences, whatever they're looking for, we try to get for them. And we try to spare no expense. Kurt likes to say, go big or go home. And that's kind of the philosophy, if you will, that we adopted. And so now it started in Oak Forest, and now we're up to 23 chapters with a few more that are going to be onboarded soon, all here in the Chicagoland area. And yeah, we're going to be hopefully going nationwide at some point, but we want to get our roots strong here in Illinois, and then we'll eventually branch out to the rest of the country.
Absolutely. And, it's good for you guys too. I mean, I know that that's very stressful to be able to see somebody in that trauma and then never get that news. It's an emotional break that you have to do. So to reconnect in some way and to be able to give back to somebody, it's good for you guys and it's good for the recipient. So I think that's kind of cool too, because it's that give and take, which is what a lot of the not-for-profits are able to accomplish for people. So if somebody hears about the organization, or you're in the Chicagoland area, do they have to then choose a particular chapter that they go to? Let's say somebody's listening today and they say, wait, I think this is really cool. I've got a child who needs X, Y, or Z, or if we could just have a visit or some kind of shout out, it would be great. How do they get started and how do they approach it?
Yeah, so a couple different ways. They could either go to our website. There's a contact form that they could fill out that gets directly sent to myself and Kurt. And then we can, call the family and, address their needs at that point in time, or they can message us on Facebook. Either way works. What'll happen is once they submit that form or they message us, we'll figure out where they live, and we'll determine if there's a chapter there. If there's not a chapter there, we will reach out to that particular fire department, whoever it may be, see if there's any kind of relationships that any one of us have with a member there, and then we will approach them to start a new chapter. I would say all of them have been extremely supportive and extremely willing to start a chapter. So there might be a little legwork at that point if there isn't a chapter, but we will do everything in our power to make sure that, or to help that family. If they are within a chapter, then it's a lot easier. We'll make that connection. We'll, get them introduced to that particular chapter board and, get something set up.
Very interesting. And then also, if you're like a neighbor or a family member, you don't necessarily have to be the child's parent or anything. Nope. You can reach out and try to figure that out as well. That's fantastic. Yep. Now let's talk about how people can get involved. So we talked about how people can get services from you, but I'm listening to your story and it sounds very cool. I mean, what kid in one fashion wouldn't want a firefighter stopping by, maybe in full with a truck and all your garb and your costume, as they might call it, even though it's your uniform, right? And you're coming by and it's so exciting for everything. Is there ways that community members can assist you as well?
Yeah. So right now, as far as volunteer opportunities, we don't have any for the general public as it stands now, but that will change eventually. Especially we are growing at such a rapid pace that we are going to have events coming up in the future, and there will be volunteer opportunities, believe me. So, but in the meantime, if somebody wants to help out or support us, like our Facebook page, share our content, and then we do have a donation button on our website as well, where they can make a singular or monthly donation, whichever they choose. And that obviously goes to a general fund in which that's what we use to purchase presents and those things for the kids.
And what about opportunities? Are there any upcoming events that maybe somebody can get to know your organization a little better or give back in a different way at this time?
Yeah, actually we got an event on July 28th. It's at 115 Bourbon Street. It's from 6 to 10. We're actually going to be there with 3 other organizations, the 100 Club of Illinois, the Yard Foundation, and Chicago's Bravest Podcast. Okay. So that'll be a night. It's $40 for a ticket. It's unlimited beer, which I think is just limited to Miller and Coors, and then house wine. And then there's going to be a dinner buffet, live music, raffles, and then what they're going to do is disperse the funds raised from that particular event to the 3 of the 4 charitable organizations in which we are one of them. And then there's a few other events coming up, during the summer. So our chapters are also, the majority of them are union fire departments. They don't have to be a union fire department to join or anything like that, but it just so happens that's the majority in the Chicagoland area. But each union has their own fundraiser. Typically, they donate for various different causes or raise money for various different causes. But a couple of them that are coming up that are donating directly to us. New Lenox has one in August, on August 13th. Payless has one on August 26th, and Lockport has one on September 29th. All the stuff's on our website. We do update that frequently in the events section. So there might be something that may be closer to your home coming up soon, but keep an eye on that page.
And do you have any events where people can get to know a little more about the organization, or for example, on the ones that are coming up, are they going to be able to get more familiar then with what you do and the activities that you're engaged in?
Yeah, especially the one at Bourbon Street. A
Right.
lot of us will be there. We'll be mingling with everybody. So that would probably be the best one coming up. We are working on other fundraisers solely for Project Fire Buddies, probably within the next 6 to 12 months, that we'll announce soon once those details get hammered out. But that one would probably be the best for now.
That's fantastic. And what a great way to give back in your own way. It's just kind of cool to be able to express that and to have it in your field in particular. Well, we really appreciate your time. If somebody wanted to call you, is there a phone number then on the website as well? So we can.
Yeah. Yep. All the phone number, contact form, everything's on the website. Kurt and myself and the other executive board members, all of our email addresses are on that website as well, under the About Us section.
Very good. So if you're listening today and you know of a family, or you're a family that needs to, have some assistance, or you think it would be a fun thing and a relief from all the pressures in life that you're going through. I mean, if you think about it, what a stressful time for a family, and just to get that respite, that's really how you somewhat have to look at it, just to get a break and to have some joy in the midst of all the problems that you're facing. Please reach out and call them. And if you're out there and you're listening, you're thinking, wow, this is a great way to give back and something that you want to be involved in and give a donation to, please look at their Facebook page, their website, and we would look forward to joining you for one of those events in the future and getting to know you a little better.
That would be great. Thank you so much for having us on, and we'll hope to talk again soon.
Thank you so much. And very good. A shout out to Project Fire Buddies. Have a great day.
Thank you. You as well.